Hi, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. My name is LAFD Captain Eric Scott. I'm honored to be the lead public information officer for this event, and we have a very robust press conference set up for you. I'm going to give you the brief run of show to begin with. We will start with 8 speakers. First will be Mayor Karen Bass, followed by Fire Chief Kristen Crowley, the LA County Board of Supervisors Chair Lindsey Horvath, Council President Paul Kokorian, City Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez, LASD Superintendent Alberto Carvalho, Metro CEO Stephanie Wiggins, National Weather Service Representative Dr. Robbie Monroe. After those English speakers, we're going to break into Spanish, and the cadence will be these 4 following members. First will be LAFD firefighter David Ortiz, Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez, LASD Superintendent Carvalho, Metro spokesperson Jose Obaldo, and then after that we will switch to questions and answers. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Angelenos, my pledge to you is to keep you informed and to make sure that the city is operating in an all-hands-on-deck manner to keep Angelenos safe. Storms can change quickly, but let me be clear. This storm is a serious weather event. This has the potential to be a historic storm, severe winds, thunderstorms, and even brief tornadoes. This morning, the city issued its first evacuation order related to this storm, and out of an abundance of caution, residents along a portion of La Tuna Canyon Road should have already evacuated because of the increased risk of significant flooding, mudslides, and sediment flow due to the burn scars left by the 2022 land fire. If you are in this area and have not yet done so, please evacuate immediately. Our Emergency Operations Center is coordinating the information flow and is staffed by many different city departments as well as liaisons to regional agencies. This storm will flow without regard to city limits or jurisdictional distinction, so we are all working closely with county, state, and federal officials. Our Emergency Operations Center is designed for earthquakes, fires, and storms like these, with a way for each and every city department to be plugged in, so the city of Los Angeles is activated and ready to go. This is all part of our continued proactive response to the storm's potential impacts. Just like our preparations for Tropical Storm Hilary paid off in August, I am confident we will weather this storm too, because once again, the city is prepared, we are sharing information, and I'm seeing Angelenos take action to make common sense preparations. If you are not home already, please get home and stay home. Stay off the roads. Make tonight a Sunday night dinner or family game night. Stay informed. Register for Notify LA at emergency, the full word, emergency.lacity.gov to sign up for alerts and get more information. Stay safe, keep your devices charged, and have your emergency supplies and medications on hand. As we anticipate this weather event continuing into the next couple of days, if you are able to work remotely, please stay home. Keep 911 lines open for life-threatening emergencies, including fallen power lines. But for flooded roads, fallen branches, flooded gutters, and the like, please contact 311 by phone, on the web, or download My311 app, which every Angeleno should do already. We have extended 311 hours for this storm. For power outages or water main breaks, call DWP at 1-800-DIAL-DWP, 1-800-DIAL-DWP. This is an all-hands-on-deck effort. The responders who are pre-deployed and standing by for this storm include firefighters, police officers, DWP crews, sanitation crews, and street services crews. And for the past week, my Office of Housing and Homelessness Solutions, along with the county, Los Angeles Housing Services Authority have intensified outreach to people experiencing homelessness along the LA River and in high flood risk areas. We have increased the availability of shelters and housing vouchers. Call 211 for transportation to shelters. Shelters are open and occupied in 4 areas: the San Fernando Valley, Northeast LA, South Los Angeles, and West Los Angeles, and again, call 211. So for those Angelenos who have friends or family members who are unhoused, please reach out to them and make sure that they are able to get to shelter. I'm going to make sure that every city department does its part, and I'm going to make sure that we are providing the people of Los Angeles with all the information they need. In turn, we need every Angeleno to use common sense, to stay home and stay out of the way of any fallen trees, fallen wires, flooded roads, and other hazards. Let's also keep the roads clear for our emergency crews. We will continue to provide updates as circumstances warrant. Now let me introduce our fire chief, Kristen Crowley, our incident commander for this storm. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. And the Los Angeles City Fire Department, along with our other public safety partners, primary focus is to ensure the safety of all of our citizens as well as our visitors. The LAFD and other city agencies have taken a proactive approach in preparation and have augmented our staffing to ensure that we are ready for the challenges of this upcoming storm. So in addition to the almost 1,000 LAFD firefighters that are on duty daily within the LAFD, we have also augmented a number of other resources to include 3 swiftwater rescue teams. We've distributed over 100 tons of sand in the last 24 hours to our local fire stations for residents to utilize and pick up. Additional helicopter pilots and flight crews, 5 urban search and rescue teams, specialized high wheelbase 4-wheel drive engines that can access flooded areas if necessary. We also have 2 additional battalion command teams, 2 LAFD equipment, heavy equipment or tractor teams, 1 LAFD hand crew, 3 LAFD community emergency response teams, as well as additional dispatchers and command staff. Your LAFD is leaning forward to ensure that we are ready to respond. Now, with that, we have also able to, with our over 100, let's say 1,500 calls a day, we're able to manage that in addition to what is coming our way. So again, your LAFD is leaning forward. So while the LAFD is the lead agency in responding to this storm, as a city, we are taking an all-city approach under the leadership of Mayor Bass to keeping our entire community safe. The Emergency Operations Center was activated yesterday and elevated to a level 2 deployment this morning to coordinate any response necessary. Currently, your LAFD is answering an average amount of calls of our EMS and fire-related calls, which also included just today 2 significant structure fires. Now, what the LAFD is asking from all of our residents in the city of LA is make your personal safety your top priority. Follow all evacuation orders. Avoid travel if necessary. If you do have to travel, let's just say, please slow down and avoid any flooded areas. Now, our city, like any other, is not immune to forces of nature. Your LAFD, along with all of our other city partners, is fully, and I mean fully committed to ensure your safety and well-being within the city of LA. So we can minimize the impact of this storm by coming together as a community. So stay safe, stay informed, and please look out for one another. Next up, I'd like to introduce the County Board of Supervisors Chair, Lindsey Horvath.
Thank you very much, Chief. Thank you to our mayor. I am the Board of Supervisors Chair and also Supervisor for the 3rd District, Lindsey Horvath, and I want to thank the mayor and the chief and everyone gathered here today for their leadership in bringing us together to make sure that Los Angeles County in total is safe and informed. I join today on behalf of the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, LA County Public Works, our Office of Emergency Management, and LA County Fire, who, with our Sheriff's Department, are coordinating and preparing for this storm with our City of Los Angeles partners. To all residents of all 88 cities, plus the unincorporated communities in Los Angeles County, please know that all levels of government are working together to be of service to you. The Los Angeles County Emergency Operations Center is activated. LA County Public Works, Fire, and our Sheriff's Department are at an elevated deployment. You will see an increased presence of LA County agencies throughout the region. Los Angeles County Public Works has staged equipment in potentially vulnerable locations across the LA Basin and the Antelope Valley. Due to the threat of mud and debris flow, 2 evacuation orders for the county have been issued. The first is the Owen Fire burn area in Topanga Canyon, which is in my district. The location is Santa Maria Road, north of Topanga Canyon Boulevard. The order is active now through Tuesday at 6 p.m. There is also an evacuation order for the Agua Fire burn area in Soledad Canyon, east of Acton. The evacuation area is along Soledad Canyon, east of Agua Dulce Canyon Road. If you have not already left, please gather your family, your pets, your medications, and leave immediately. For Topanga residents, a shelter has been established at One Generation Senior Enrichment Center at 18255 Victory Boulevard in Reseda. I want to especially thank my staff who worked through the night to set up this location in partnership with the Red Cross. For Acton, a shelter at Marie Kerr Park in Palmdale is open at 39700 30th Street West. Animal sheltering is available at the Agora Animal Care Center at 29525 Agora Road in Agora Hills. I urge residents of the Owen and Agua Fire burn areas to evacuate immediately. The sooner you evacuate, the safer you are. Weather and road conditions will change quickly, and we want you to be safe. Thank you for leaving now. An evacuation warning is also in place for the Bobcat Fire and Lake Fire burn areas. If you live in these communities, be prepared to evacuate. For the latest on evacuation orders in LA County, for warnings, shelters, and roadway impacts, visit lacounty.gov/emergency. Again, that's lacounty.gov/emergency. To report a downed tree, flooding, or other roadway impact, call LA County Public Works, available 24 hours a day, at 800-675-4357. 800-675-4357. Power outages are likely during this storm, so please be prepared to connect with your utility provider so you have their number ready to report an outage. Also, as the chair of the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority Commission, know that great efforts have been made ahead of this storm to outreach to our unhoused community members to bring them inside, and the mayor touched on some in the city. We have ensured that those near our flood control channels and other at-risk areas have moved to higher ground or received shelter. Additional shelter capacity has been secured through the duration of the storm through the Augmented Winter Shelter Program, and the county is working with LASA to open more beds. The new Los Angeles County Park locations for Augmented Winter Shelter are Pamela Park in Duarte and Enterprise Park in Willowbrook. These are in addition to the locations that the mayor shared in the city of Los Angeles. If you need shelter or know someone who does, call 211. You can also visit lhsa.org/winter-shelter, LAHSA.org/winter-shelter. In closing, I want to remind everyone to enroll in their local emergency alerts. You can sign up for LA County alerts at ready.lacounty.gov/alerts. The county has shared multilingual alerts to the communities in our evacuation order and evacuation warning areas. And if you are a county employee in a non-essential role, County departments have been advised to have employees work from home tomorrow. Please work with your department directors who will advise what you should be doing tomorrow. I've been in regular contact with our CEO, Sheriff Luna, Fire Chief Anthony Maroney, in addition to our Public Works Director, Mark Pastrella, and our Director of Emergency Management, Kevin McGowan, who are here with me today. Also, Governor Gavin Newsom reached out earlier offering his assistance, and he is paying attention to everything we need here as well. We'll continue to work together to protect Los Angeles County throughout this storm. Please be safe. Never drive through flooded roadways. If you live in an evacuation area, leave now. My thanks to everyone who is doing all possible to stay inside. To all of our teams on the front lines of this weather event, thank you for taking care of our communities. We're going to get through this, LA County. Thank you for staying informed, having a plan, and staying inside. And now I'd like to turn it over to Council President Paul Krikorian.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Horvath, and Mayor Bass, thank you. Thank you both for ensuring that the city and county are working together to ensure that all hands are on deck and we're ready to meet this challenge again. I'd like to make this point. As with every other emergency, Los Angeles is prepared. This came as no surprise that the storm was coming, and so in the weeks leading up to it, we have been preparing for it. You have the finest fire department, the finest police department, and the finest emergency management department in the nation, ready to put themselves at risk to keep you safe. And they will do that throughout this storm. But they're not the only ones. Our tens of thousands of city employees across our departments are willing to do whatever it takes 24/7 in the elements, away from their families, to ensure that you are kept safe. That means people at the DWP who are trying to keep our power going, who are responding to the situations that happen when trees fall on power lines that expose you to great danger. They're out there putting themselves at risk to ensure the lights stay on. Our men and women of the Department of Transportation are there to ensure that the streets are as safe as they can be, that our traffic signals are still working. The men and women of Bureau of Street Services are out there ensuring that the streets and the sidewalks remain passable no matter what debris comes. And in department after department, those employees of our city are willing to do their part to keep you safe. So you need to do your part too. And a lot of times we have these emergencies and people say, well, I know what's best for me and I'm fine. But the thing is, it's not enough to keep yourself safe. It's not enough to keep your family safe. You have to keep your neighbors, the other citizens of Los Angeles, and our public employees safe as well. That's why it's so important that you heed these warnings. If you can stay off the road, by all means, stay off the road. If you absolutely have to drive, slow down and keep people safe by doing that. Don't drive through flooded areas. There are going to be potholes, there are going to be dangers, and you're going to be putting not only yourself, but others on the road at risk as well. So it's absolutely essential that everyone grab an oar and do your part. Los Angeles is at its best when we're looking out for one another, when we're taking care of our neighborhoods, taking care of each other. That's what your city council and what your city employees are going to be doing throughout this. You need to do your part as well. So please, if you get an order to evacuate, evacuate. If you get other warnings from our government agencies, please heed them. This is serious. This is the largest intensity of rain that we've had. We've only had this kind of intensity twice before in the last over 40 years. So take it seriously, heed the warnings, and do your part to keep yourselves and all of Los Angeles safe. It's my pleasure to next recognize a council member who represents the northeast part of the San Fernando Valley, which is so much at risk during any kind of rainstorm that we get, and also the chair of our Public Safety Committee, Councilmember Monica Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Krikorian. I've been out in surveying my district in the affected areas, particularly along Latuna Canyon. Many of our hillside communities are no strangers to these types of evacuation orders. They happen with unfortunate regularity. But this severe rain event is going to present greater obstacles and a lot of impacts in these burn areas. And that has historically been affected along the Latuna Canyon corridor in particular. I was out there with a number of residents this morning who were also quite concerned given the topography of the area. And so we want to continue to advise the public to heed the calls for those evacuation orders in that affected area of Latuna Canyon. Again, we've got a number of K-rails and debris that always fall along Latuna Canyon, so I know our community is very familiar with these events. They happen with unfortunate regularity, but the additional rainfall that is anticipated certainly presents greater concern than we've ever experienced before. And so it's for that reason that we want to ensure that people take the opportunity to seek the shelter that is available to you at the Sunland Senior Center at Sunland Park. We also have made available the Lakeview Terrace Recreation Center that is also actively open and available. And more importantly, because this is a large equine keeping community, we have a number of horses, large animals and ranch properties in this area. We've had 17 horses that were evacuated from this area. Hanson Dam Equestrian Center is ready for those large animal evacuations. For those of you concerned with your small household pets, your dogs and cats, the recreation centers are able to accommodate your small household pets, your cats, your dogs, your rabbits. Those are available. And yes, those are necessary in this area because we do have a lot of animal keeping in this area. We know that in my district in the Northeast San Fernando Valley, we've got two large dams. We've got Tujunga and we've got Pacoima Dam. We know that these hillside areas are particularly vulnerable for a lot of flooding and the additional release of water that will affect the wash areas. It's for that reason that we want to continue to urge the members of the public who reside along these very sensitive areas to please go get your sandbags at your local fire department. Make sure that you're helping to shore up your properties. But even more importantly, for those of you living in some of these hillside areas or even in the Sun Valley area where we know we historically experience a great deal of flooding, it's important to report the catch basins that are blocked so that we can keep the water moving off of our streets. And I want to thank our Bureau of Sanitation, Street Services, all of our public works crews. As the council president indicated, while we absolutely appreciate and respect the work of our emergency first responders from fire and police, the truth is the entire city family is deployed at full force to help make sure that we're keeping our streets safe. And we ask the public to please heed those calls to avoid those flooded intersections. We know we have a number of locations in the San Fernando Valley, including some of the 5 freeway that historically experience these significant flooding areas as a result with some very minimal storm events. This is going to be substantially greater, and we want to make sure that everyone is being responsive and responsible to heeding the calls that we are all discussing today. And again, please, we encourage you to take advantage of those shelters and, the shelters, should they be needed, as Mayor Bass indicated, for all the other locations, but the evacuation centers that have been made available at Sunland Park as well as Lakeview Terrace Rec Center. And again, we continue to be available with animal services to help evacuate a lot of those large equine keeping areas as well. And so with that, I thank you all, to our city family and all the collective effort that are working together to help address these events. And it's my pleasure at this time to introduce our Superintendent of LA Unified, Alberto Carvalho.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Rodriguez. Mayor Bass, to the city and county leadership, I want to thank you for your accessibility, your constant collaboration partnership. The mayor and I spoke just yesterday, and we reconnected today here to go over current conditions and make the very best decisions on behalf of the residents of our community. So let me begin by by emphasizing a distinction. We came together not that long ago to make decisions regarding Tropical Storm Hillary. There are significant differences between Tropical Storm Hillary and this storm, and there are similarities. Tonight, based on the best information available to us, we will see an intensity of winds and rain going into tomorrow, particularly during the time that our schools are open. The winds will subside and heavy rains will be felt. Based on those conditions and understanding that the impact will vary from area to area, considering the fact that our students depend on nutrition at school, we have made the decision at this point to maintain our schools open going into tomorrow. We will communicate directly with our workforce and our parents at 7 p.m. tonight, and then again at 6 a.m. tomorrow, should there be any change specific to conditions as they evolve overnight. We do not expect them to change dramatically, but if they do, we are ready to make decisions. As was previously addressed, on the basis of the evacuation that has already been announced, Vinedale Elementary School will be shut down tomorrow. Our workforce and impacted families have already been contacted, and those students in the workforce will report to a nearby school about a mile away, Glenwood Elementary School. We are urging everyone to be careful, to be cautious. If you do not have to be on the road, as it's been stated before, don't be on the road. Our schools represent more than just education. They are the places where many of our kids receive their nutrition. After this weekend, many will depend on their breakfast, the lunch, the snack, and in many cases, a dinner. Our schools will be open. With that said, we recognize the severity and the threat that this storm brings. So we will be exercising a great deal of grace, of patience, and understanding both with our students as well as our workforce. I urge parents and the workforce to make decisions on the basis of what you know surrounding your community and your journey to your school or place of work. Do not put yourself in danger. Lastly, we are ready for students who may be impacted in their areas by this storm for them to have access to continuity of learning packets and information that has been available consistently through Schoology, our learning management system. That is a reality. Together, we shall make it to the other side. We've been here before. This city has a terrific track record of protecting its residents, and there is no resident more important to protect than the children of Los Angeles. Thank you very much. It is now my pleasure to introduce Metro CEO Stephanie Wiggins.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephanie Wiggins, and I am the CEO of LA Metro. First, I'd like to thank Mayor Bass, who is also the Metro Board Chair, for her continued leadership to keep Los Angeles safe. I'm also pleased to be here with the Chair of the LA County Board of Supervisors, Lindsey Horvath, and LA City Council President Paul Krikorian, who both are also members of LA Metro's board. Metro is prepared to continue our vital service during this storm. We have activated our inclement weather plan, and I'm pleased to report that we have no weather-related issues on our bus or rail lines at this time. Over the past few days, along with the city family and the county family, we also have been preparing for the storm, doing everything from clearing out drains, deploying generators, pumps, and sandbags, to checking for low-hanging tree branches, pre-positioning utility and tow trucks, and placing floor mats at underground station entrances. All of our bus and rail operators are working under inclement weather procedures, which includes extra vigilance when looking for possible street flooding or storm debris on the rail lines. We have crews, including extra mechanics, strategically positioned across LA County so they can provide a rapid response should any issues develop. Our Metro ambassadors have been deployed at all major transfer hubs to provide customers with storm-related information. Our homeless outreach teams are warning those experiencing homelessness of the upcoming weather conditions and helping connect them with the city and county shelters and services. We appreciate the partnership with LAHSA and the city and county resources during this very important time. As the storm intensifies, as it's expected to do later this evening and throughout the night and tomorrow, I encourage all Angelinos who must be out to drive safely and, if possible, take Metro so you won't have to worry about driving. Please check with metro.net as well as our social media channels for real-time updates on our service. People can also call 323-GO-METRO. That's 323-466-3876 for any information, latest updates on service changes that may be impacted by the storm. With that, I'd like to bring up our National Weather Service representative, Mr. Robbie Monroe.
Hi, thank you. I'm Dr. Robbie Monroe with the National Weather Service. We're already within a potentially historic storm here in Southern California. And with that, we already are expecting rapidly deteriorating conditions into this evening. And so it's right on our doorstep. We are anticipating a high risk for significant and widespread flooding for area roadways, neighborhoods, etc. Normally, dry creeks and riverbeds will be bank full and flowing, so that creates another hazard for potential water rescues. Rainfall totals, we have actually increased those to 4 to 8 inches across the region, with 8 to 14 inches across the mountains and snow across our highest ridgetops. So again, this is a very significant storm. And in addition to the rain, we expect very gusty winds. And so widespread down trees and power lines are possible. And those same winds are creating very dangerous conditions at the coast. And so we're seeing high surf, coastal flooding, and erosion at the surf as well. Thank you.
Next, we'll move into our Spanish program, firefighter David Ortiz.
Buenas tardes. La ciudad de Los Ángeles y el Departamento de Bomberos, igual con nuestros compañeros y diferentes agencias, hemos enfocado en hacer primaria la seguridad de todo ciudadano de Los Ángeles. Y hemos tomado un movimiento de aumentar la cantidad de rescatistas que tenemos listos para poder manejar esta tormenta. Te pedimos al público que nos apoyen lo más posible al mantenerse en casa si usted no tiene negocio. Manténgase en casa, deje que las carreteras se mantengan libres para que rescatistas puedan usarlas. Tenemos más de 1,000 bomberos en nuestro municipio dispuestos para arriesgar vida y tenemos técnicos especializados con 3 equipos de rescate acuático listos para dar rescate a las personas. Hemos hecho disponible más de 100 toneladas de arena para que las personas protejan sus viviendas y propiedad. Tenemos equipo especializado para hacer rescate urbano y tenemos también bomberas especializadas con tracción especial para entrar a áreas que han sido inundadas. Tenemos equipo pesado, tenemos voluntarios de nuestros equipos de CERT y también tenemos despachadores de 911 disponibles para asistir al público. Mientras nosotros estamos preparándonos para esta emergencia, pedimos al público que se prepare también para esta emergencia y haga su parte para mantener a sus vecinos seguros. Si no tiene negocio, le repetimos, manténganse en casa. Si usted ve agua moviéndose con rapidez en las carreteras, que es algo que se espera, por favor, no intente cruzar el agua que se está moviendo con fuerza. Sabemos que esta agua lleva bastante poder y puede llevarse vehículos. Sabemos que el Departamento de Bomberos, igual bajo el liderazgo de nuestro alcalde, Karen Bass, estamos tratando de hacer lo más posible por mantener a nuestras comunidades seguros. Y este centro de operaciones que puede usted ver a mis espaldas se ha puesto en una posición para estar y responder a las diferentes emergencias y necesidades de nuestros ciudadanos. Igual como la ciudad, el condado de Los Ángeles también ha puesto sus recursos disponibles para ayudar al público. Y a una parte de este tormenta que sigue amenazándonos continúe el servicio que nosotros estamos dando al público. De hecho, este día tuvimos 2 incendios de significancia en el municipio de Los Ángeles. Si usted vive en una de las zonas que se han dado las órdenes de evacuación, por favor, hágalo ahora, evacúe su hogar. Sabemos que la policía y los alguaciles del condado son quienes están llevando a cabo estas órdenes de evacuaciones y usted podría verlos en su vecindad. Si los ve en su vecindad y le dicen que evacúe, siga su dirección. Por favor, evite el viajar en las carreteras durante esta tormenta. Se espera bastante agua, lo que significa va a haber lodo en las carreteras, va a haber deslaves, va a haber inundaciones. Pedimos al público que reporte estas inundaciones a su agencia de obras públicas. También queremos dejarles saber que todo el Departamento de Bomberos estamos aquí preparados y hemos hecho todos los preparativos necesarios para estar listos para esta emergencia, pero necesitamos que usted también haga su parte. Vamos a ver que los vientos van a causar que caigan las líneas de alta tensión, de alto voltaje, y tome precaución de evitar estas. También sabemos que el agua va a correr a través de nuestras calles y si usted ve inundaciones, repórtelos. Continuamos nosotros a espera, continuamos trabajando para ustedes y pedimos al público que haga su parte para prepararse. Ahora me gustaría invitar a nuestro superintendente de escuelas, el señor Carvalho.
Buenas tardes. Quiero empezar por agradecer a nuestra alcaldesa, la señora Bass, pero también a los líderes municipales de nuestra ciudad, del condado, por la cooperación, la colaboración y la comunicación que hemos tenido desde ayer. Estamos una vez más enfrentando una condición seria aquí en nuestra comunidad. Esta tormenta es una tormenta seria, pero debido a la información que tenemos en este momento, que es diferente de las condiciones observadas durante la tormenta tropical Hillary, hemos decidido como sistema escolar mantener nuestros planteles escolares abiertos mañana. Pero esta tarde, por las 7 de la tarde, vamos a comunicarnos con todos los padres de familia en nuestro sistema escolar. También vamos a comunicarnos con todos nuestros colegas de trabajo que trabajan para nuestro sistema unificado de Los Ángeles para confirmar nuestras decisiones. Lo vamos a hacer una vez más mañana por las 6 de la mañana. Es importante analizar las informaciones que tenemos, los datos científicos que tenemos y hacer la mejor decisión para nuestros niños y para nuestros colegas de trabajo. Nuestros planteles escolares son importantes, no son solamente de un punto de vista educacional, pero también son los lugares donde nuestros niños, muchos de nuestros niños, principalmente niños necesitados, obtienen su nutrición. Nosotros entendemos que muchas personas van a encontrar varias dificultades mañana. Queremos asegurar a nuestros colegas de trabajo y a los padres de familia que vamos a enfrentar las dificultades mañana con paciencia, entendimiento y comprensión. Mañana no va a ser un día fácil, pero va a ser un día de escuela. Estamos listos también para proporcionar recursos digitales para niños que debido a condiciones locales alrededor de sus hogares se tienen que mantener en sus casas. Los recursos digitales van a estar accesibles a todos. Vamos a tener empleados, principalmente personal de mantenimiento en nuestros planteles escolares mañana por la mañana para investigar, analizar y determinar si existen algunos factores para cerrar esa escuela. Hemos decidido hoy, debido a un anuncio de evacuación, de cerrar la escuela Vinedale College Preparatory Academy. Los niños y nuestros maestros y personal de apoyo van a trabajar en una escuela 1 milla de distancia que se llama Glenwood Elementary School. No va a ser un día fácil, pero juntos, unidos, con determinación, vamos a asegurar que nuestros niños, nuestros colegas de trabajo y nuestra comunidad van a estar seguros. Muchas gracias. I'd like to bring up now. No? No. Okay. Nobody. Thank you very much.
We'll actually have our Metro spokesperson, Jose Ubaldo.
Buenas tardes. Estamos aquí en Metro para informarles que hasta el momento continuamos prestando nuestros servicios de transporte muy críticos en estos momentos sin ningún problema. Hemos activado nuestro plan de emergencia y estamos contentos de reportar que hasta ahora no hemos tenido ningún problema relacionado con la tormenta en nuestras líneas de autobuses y de trenes. Hemos venido preparándonos en los últimos días para esta tormenta, haciendo todo lo posible para mantener limpios nuestros drenajes, desplegando generadores eléctricos, bombas para sacar agua y bolsas con arena, revisando las ramas de los árboles que estén colgando en nuestras rutas de trenes, desplegando grúas y camionetas en lugares estratégicos y pusimos tapetes para que la gente no se resbale en la entrada de las estaciones de trenes subterráneos. Todos nuestros operadores de autobuses y trenes están trabajando bajo un procedimiento preparado para responder a las inclemencias del tiempo, que incluye vigilancia extra cuando vean posibles inundaciones en las calles o basuras o escombros en las vías de nuestros trenes. Tenemos grupos de trabajadores, incluyendo cuadrillas extras de mecánicos ubicados estratégicamente en el condado para que puedan responder de inmediato por si se llega a ofrecer algo. Nuestros embajadores están desplegados en los centros de transporte más importantes como Union Station, 7 y Metro, nuestras estaciones del conector regional y en la estación Willowbrook Rosa Parks para ayudar a todos nuestros usuarios con información relacionadas con la tormenta y cómo viajar en el sistema en estos momentos. También están desplegados particularmente en la línea J de autobuses para ofrecer ayuda a nuestros pasajeros. Nuestros equipos de asistencia a los desamparados están informando a las personas sin techo de la tormenta que se avecina y los ayudan a conectarse con refugios de la ciudad y del condado. Agradecemos a nuestros socios de LAHSA y los recursos de la ciudad y del condado en estos momentos de necesidad. Mientras las lluvias se intensifica como se espera que suceda más tarde durante esta noche y en el lunes, pedimos a los angelinos que utilicen Metro para viajar y no se tengan que preocupar por manejar bajo la lluvia. Por favor, visite la página de Metro en metro.net, así como en X, conocida como Twitter, para obtener información de los últimos acontecimientos acerca de nuestros servicios. Las personas también pueden llamar al 323-GO-METRO o 323-466-3876 para información en inglés y en español. Gracias.
We certainly would like to thank our speakers for providing all that information. And as you likely noticed, each of these heads of these departments and agencies not only reiterated all the hard work that their members are performing, but they had one reiterated ask for you at home, and that's for you to stay at home. So we thank you for joining our team in that way, and we appreciate that collaboration. At this point, we're going to turn to answer any questions that you may have, and we'll start with KTLA.
Thank you, sir. This question is for the National Weather Service rep. If you can give our viewers a little bit more detail as how much of a 1-2 punch we're going to get in the next 24 to 48 hours, sir.
Sure. So the highest confidence period is for this evening through tomorrow morning, and that's when we're expecting widespread, moderate, heavy rainfall. Rainfall amounts per hour could be in excess of 1 inch per hour, especially in thunderstorms. And then there's a moderate confidence that we'll see a second wave as that front lifts back north for Monday late afternoon into Monday night. And then continued thunderstorm chances into Tuesday.
And my last question is for LA Superintendent of Schools. With all the information that we have, I know that you have the schools open because some students need it for nutrition. Are you recommending to parents who don't need to go to school because of all of these dangers to stay home, or are you having them just use your best judgment just based on where they're living, where the storm track is currently going?
So we are encouraging, as I said earlier, for parents to make the best decision on the basis of the conditions around their homes and the established route from home to school. We do not want anyone to put themselves in danger. That applies to our workforce. However, as I said earlier, based on the information we have, as was just reiterated, there's a transition from high winds and heavy rains tonight to heavy rains tomorrow, and then another change. On the basis of the information we have, we feel confident that schools can open. It is not going to be an easy day. But look, even before we got to today, anticipating this storm, our plant managers, our principals, our staffs actually inspected their schools in advance of the weekend. And they beefed up on their preparedness plans for their very specific schools. We know areas where typically there is some degree of flooding. We are aware of the fact that some bus routes may have to be diverted on the basis of what we find early tomorrow morning. But we feel confident that knowing what we know at this point, schools can open and be a safe space for kids. But we're asking parents and the workforce to make decisions on the basis of what they know surrounding their homes and the routes they usually take to school. And again, we will emphasize grace, understanding, and patience, which all of us need to have a degree of going into tomorrow.
We thank you. Any other questions? Very good. We'll go ahead and update you when our next press conference will be before you leave today. We thank you again for being here.